I remember watching Commander Lyra Voss carve it into the blackened hull of our downed ship with a plasma knife, her jaw set, eyes cold and calculating even as smoke drifted through the fractured canopy above us. Rule 1. Never stop moving. The planet did not have a name, at least not one recorded in any human database. On the charts it was listed as KX-417, a failed colony world abandoned centuries ago after something went catastrophically wrong. The distress beacon that lured us there had been ancient, looping on a decayed signal that shouldn't have survived time. But the Coalition paid well for answers, and Lyra Voss never turned down a mission that promised both danger and discovery. Our ship, the Peregrine Dawn, never made it past the upper atmosphere. The skies over KX-417 were a sickly amber, thick with metallic storms that shredded our shields and sent us spiraling toward the surface like a dying bird. By the time we crashed into the salt flats below, half the crew was dead, the engines were slag, and the long-range comms were nothing but static. Lyra survived. She always did. She pulled me from the wreckage herself, dragged me clear before the reactor fire spread. I coughed ash and blood, barely conscious, while she assessed the horizon with military precision. That was when she laid down the rules. She etched them one by one as the sun dipped below jagged spires in the distance. Rule 1. Never stop moving. Rule 2. Trust no signals, no voices, no structures. Rule 3. If someone falls behind, you do not go back. I stared at the words through blurred vision. And if we break them? Lyra looked at me then, really looked, her steel-gray eyes unreadable. Then we die. She was the most capable survival commander I'd ever served under, former Vanguard, veteran of 3 lost front wars, rumored to have walked out of situations that erased entire battalions. If she said these rules were law, they might as well have been written into the physics of the universe. And yet, hours later, I would break the first one. We moved east across the flats, away from the crash site. The ground glittered faintly, salt crystals fused with unknown alloys, crunching beneath our boots. The air hummed, not audibly but deep inside the skull, a vibration you felt in your bones. That was the planet watching us. Lyra kept us moving at a steady pace, rifle up, scanning constantly. There were only 5 of us left: Lyra, me, Engineer Malik, Navigator Senna, and young Corporal Hesh, barely 20, fresh from orbital training. We didn't speak much. Every time we stopped for more than a few seconds, the hum intensified, like something noticing our hesitation. After 3 hours, we saw the structures. They rose from the horizon like broken ribs, towers of black stone and metal fused together, impossibly old yet untouched by erosion. Lights flickered faintly within them, pulsing in slow, organic rhythms. Senna swallowed hard. Commander, that looks like a city. Lyra didn't slow down. Rule 2, she said flatly. It's bait. As we passed, my visor picked up signals, life signs, power emissions, even fragments of language. Whispers brushed the edge of my hearing, promising shelter, safety, answers. I clenched my jaw and followed. That's when Hesh stumbled. At first it was just a misstep. The ground shifted beneath him, the crystalline surface rippling like liquid for a split second. He fell hard, screaming as something beneath the salt grabbed his leg. We reacted instantly. Malik rushed forward, trying to pull him free. Don't stop, Lyra shouted. Cut him loose if you have to. Hesh was crying now, panic breaking through his training. Commander, please, I can't feel my leg. I saw it then. The ground wasn't ground at all. It was a living mesh, dormant until we lingered. Tendrils of reflective matter wrapped tighter around Hesh's limb, crawling upward. Malik hesitated. That hesitation was enough. The hum became a roar. Structures in the distance shifted, towers rotating, aligning toward us like eyes focusing. The air thickened, pressing down on our lungs. "Move," Lyra barked, grabbing Senna and pulling her forward.
Now.
Malik looked at me, eyes wide, torn between orders and humanity. And I made my choice. I stopped. Breaking rule 1 felt like stepping off a cliff. The moment my boots planted and I turned back, the planet reacted. The hum surged into a shriek that vibrated through my teeth. The salt flats around me began to rise, forming jagged spines. Lyra spun around. "Don't," she yelled. "If you stop, it locks onto you." "I'm not leaving him," I shouted back. I fired my rifle at the tendrils gripping Hesh, blasting chunks of the living mesh apart. Black ichor sprayed, sizzling where it hit the air. Hesh screamed again, but this time in pain mixed with hope. Malik joined me without a word. Together we hauled Hesh free, his leg bleeding but intact. The structures in the distance lit up fully now, beams of amber light slicing across the flats. Shapes moved within them, massive, indistinct, as if the city itself was waking. "Run!" Lyra screamed. We ran. The ground chased us. Spines erupted behind our heels, snapping shut where we'd just been. The city wailed, a chorus of voices overlapping, mimicking human speech.
"Stay.
"Help us. You're safe." Senna sobbed as she ran. Malik half-carried Hesh, who was fading fast. Lyra fell back beside me, firing in controlled bursts, her face a mask of fury and something else. Fear. "You don't understand this world," she said between breaths. "It feeds on pause, on indecision, on attachment." "Then why did you bring us here?" I shouted. Her answer was lost as the ground beneath Senna collapsed. She vanished with a scream, swallowed instantly, the surface sealing behind her as if she'd never existed. Lyra didn't stop. Rule 3. I wanted to, every instinct screaming to turn back, but I'd already broken one rule. Breaking another wouldn't save Senna. It would only doom us all. We ran until the spines stopped rising, until the city's cries faded into the background hum. Only then did Lyra signal a halt. We collapsed behind a ridge of petrified metal, panting, shaking. Malik tended to Hesh's leg, sealing the wound with a med-gel patch. He'd survive, physically at least. Lyra stood apart from us, staring back toward the distant city. "You broke Rule 1, she said quietly. "I know. That should have killed us. But it didn't." She turned to face me, eyes sharp. "Because it chose Senna instead." The words hit harder than any blow. "This planet," Lyra continued, "isn't hunting randomly. It's balancing. It takes what's offered. When you stopped, you made yourself an anchor. When you pulled Hesh free, you tipped the scales." I clenched my fists. So the rules aren't about survival. They're about negotiation. For the first time since the crash, Lyra looked uncertain. "Yes," she admitted. And I didn't know if that would work. Night fell quickly on KX 417. The sky darkened to deep violet, stars burning too brightly, too close. The hum softened, almost curious. That was when the voices returned. But this time, they weren't coming from the city. They were coming from Lyra's suit. She stiffened as her comm panel flickered to life. "Commander Voss," a calm, synthesized voice said. "You have returned at last." Her face drained of color. I stared at her. "You've been here before." Lyra closed her eyes. "This is where my last unit died." She told us everything then. Decades ago, as a Vanguard officer, she'd led an expedition to KX 417. They'd uncovered the truth. The planet was a distributed intelligence, a living archive built by an extinct species to preserve consciousness. It tested visitors, integrated them, learned from them. Those who failed were absorbed. Those who adapted were changed. Lyra had survived by following the rules, by abandoning her people one by one until she was the only variable left. They offered me a choice, she said quietly. Stay and become part of it, or leave and carry the rules back to the stars. So, why come back? Malik asked. Her gaze met mine. Because it's incomplete. It doesn't understand sacrifice. Only loss. The voice returned, louder now. One of you defied the pattern. Explain. The ground before us rippled, forming a humanoid shape of light and shadow. I stepped forward. He was dying, I said. So I stopped. The entity tilted its head. Stopping results in termination. Not always, I replied. Sometimes stopping saves others. The hum shifted, confused.